Hey guys, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the best of the rest. We took a couple weeks break, a couple weeks of hiatus there. But man, the sports are back with a vengeance. We have tennis, we have golf, the English Premier League is back, and Formula One's summer break is ending next week. So there's a lot going on. We're gonna start with tennis first. This is the cream of the crop when it comes to the hard court season, right? We have ATP and WTA 1000 tournaments back to back weeks. And then we have the US Open just 2 weeks away at the end of the month. So this is what players are working towards and working to when it comes to summer tennis. And we'll get right into it and recap the Rogers tournament in Montreal for the men. Pablo Carreno Busta won and beat Herbert Hurkacz, which was a really nice win. I think Busta was plus 125, 130 underdog heading into that final. But he came back down from 0-1 sets, and he won the second set 6-3 and the third set 6-3. So props to him. I believe it's his first ever ATP 1000 tournament win. Very solid career, but the fact that he's won it only once shows you how hard it is to win these tournaments, because you are getting the top of the top when it comes to the ranked players globally, and everyone comes here for these two tournaments as well as the US Open. So if we go back a little bit further, a couple surprises that, in my opinion, were kind of disappointing. Round of 16, the champion Busta actually beat Jannik Sinner. Jannik Sinner was a heavy favorite heading into this round of 16 match, and ended up losing 6-2, 6-4. Jannik Sinner was the 7th seed. He had just won the tournament previously, so he was coming in tip-top form. So that was disappointing. The 9th ranked guy, Cameron Norrie, lasted only till the round of 16 as well. Moving towards the quarterfinals here, Nick Kyrgios was on fire the first 3 matches, and he headed into the quarterfinals, and he played Herbert Hurkacz, which is the loser of the finals eventually. But Nick Kyrgios came out, lost that first set 7-6 in a tie break, came back, fought all the way back to get into a third set, and surprisingly lost 6-1 in that final set. Herbert Hurkacz is a very good server, solid ground strokes, and it's just not going to make very many mistakes. So I didn't get to catch the final set of that match, but I'm assuming Kyrgios got down early because of unforced errors, and it was too late to kind of try to break Hubert's really good serves there. So another quarterfinal match that was super surprising, and I'll be honest, I was on the losing side here. Felix Auger-Aliassime, big Canadian, one of the up-and-coming rising stars, lost 6-1, 6-2 in the quarterfinals. He was smoking opponents heading into that match, and surprising, he only ended up winning 3 games in the entire match. Semifinals, not many surprises there. Both matches went 3 sets, and then we got into the finals earlier. Moving to the women's side, the women's side was actually really cool. Simona Halep ended up winning. She beat Haddad Maya, who was an underdog in almost every single match that she was in. But let me go back to day 6 of that tournament. Some of the big upsets here was Haddad Maya being Iga Swiatek, number 1 overall seed, in 3 sets, 6-4, 3-6, 7-5. Super impressive there. I love this win because I'm American here, but Jessica Pegula, she beat the defending champion Gorgie, who won this last year, in 3 sets, 3-6, and then dominated 6-0, 7-5 in sets 2 and 3. That was really cool to watch. Coco Gauff also moved ahead, being the 10th ranked player, beat Sabalenka in 3 sets, 7-5, 4-6, 7-6. So the Americans were playing really well heading into day 7, which is the quarterfinals, and Pegula won that. And then Coco Gauff ran into Simona Halep, who's right now probably the best player in the world. She's definitely the most consistent, and she's a dark horse to win the US Open. I don't think she's going to win this next tournament in Cincinnati, because I think she's going to give her body a break. But I think she's a great pick to for a futures hit when you look into US Open outright winners. Um, but yeah, those were some of the great surprises here. The final ended up being a great match. It was a three-setter, 6-3, 2-6, 6-3. Simona Halep again finished up on top. Um, Props to her. If I were to look at the odds now, let me bear with me a second here while I look up the odds for the US Open for you guys. I'll let you guys know what I like in terms of outright favorites. ATP. There you go. US Open men's. All right, if Djokovic can play, he obviously is the favorite at plus 150. After that is Medvedev or plus 260, Nadal plus 500, Alcaraz plus 500. I would stay away from Alcaraz. Very, very young, exciting player, but he hasn't done well in these finals. Whether it's small tournaments or big tournaments, he's really good at getting there, and then he doesn't do enough to get to the next level. Nick Kyrgios plus 700, the fifth shortest odds. We all know what he can do. He made it to the finals in Wimbledon just a couple months ago. Talent-wise, he's definitely up there, top 5, top 10 in the world. Just mentally, the question mark has always been about him staying focused and staying mentally ready to just play these grueling 5-set matches. Remember, the Grand Slam tournaments or the major tournaments are best out of 5 for the men. So you have to look into guys that have great 5-set records, guys that are fit, guys that are in good form. My favorite pick is going to be Matteo Berrettini. He's plus 2,000. That's 20-1 odds to win. I think that's great value because I think when he's on, he is a top 5 player on hard courts. And we saw him go on a great run here in New York a few years ago. He does have it in him. The Italian fans in New York love him there. I do like Matteo Berrettini to kind of surprise some people and get into a quarterfinals or semifinals. And once you do that, anything honestly can happen. So I like him. And then on the women's side, let me go ahead and pull that up. On the women's side, we have Iga Swiatek plus 250, Simona Halep at plus 700, Naomi Osaka plus 900, Coco Gauff, Rybakina, Sabalenka, all around the plus 1100, the plus 1400 mark. My favorite pick here, you guys know how high I am on Simona Halep at plus 700, but I don't know if I like the value, to be honest, at that point. This one's hard for me, man. I'm not gonna touch, Bianca Andreescu, who a couple years ago. I'm not gonna touch Serena. By the way, props to Serena Williams. This is gonna be her last tournament ever. So after the U.S. Open, whether she makes it to the first, second week or whatever, it's gonna be her last matches ever. So hopefully she goes on a big run and gives those New York fans something to cheer about. But give me Emma Raducanu. She hasn't been playing well, but I like her to make a quarterfinals. Obviously, the draws have not come out yet. There's still 2 more tournaments in between then. But I think Emma loves the big stage. She loves playing at night on hard court. Again, she kind of stole everyone's hearts last year. I'd like her to kind of do the same this year and make a quarterfinals. But as far as winners, give me Simona or Jabber. Ons Jabber. I love her game. Super consistent. Can have winners both on the forehand side and the backhand side. Her serve is not as great as the other top tier players, but I like her to make some noise here in the US Open. All right, so that was some tennis. Let me go ahead and get to golf. So this past week was the first tournament of the FedEx playoffs, and it was awesome. I don't know if you guys caught the final round Sunday afternoon, but it was a 3-hole playoff between Zalatoris and Sepp Straka. Zalatoris ended up winning. It was his first PGA Tour win, and he's a rookie on the FedEx playoff. So this is an amazing double win for him. He's vaulted all the way up to first place now in the FedEx Cup standings. Again, only the top 70 will play this week at the BMW. After that, only top 30 would play in East Lake in Atlanta. So this is when, the field gets a lot smaller, the courses get a lot harder, the competition is much better. If you look at the odds heading into BMW, it's actually really interesting. I believe Rory has the best odds, who missed the cut there in Memphis at the St. Jude's. But yeah, he's only a 10-1 outright favorite to win. Patrick Cantlay is second, plus 1,400. Matt Fitzpatrick, Justin Thomas, John Rahm, Xander, Will Zalatoris. You guys know how hard it is to win back-to-back, so I would not touch Will Zalatoris. Tony Finau was going for 3 straight wins, which doesn't happen very often. I think it's only happened with 5 or 6 other golfers in the last 25 years. He fell short, but he ended up, I believe, top 10. So, I mean, Tony Finau is in great form. I would continue Tony Finau top 10s right now. I believe it's plus 160. That's great value for arguably the best golfer right now that's going. My pick is going to be Colin Morikawa, 20-1 odds. You can probably find longer shots or longer odds, maybe 22 or 24-1. But I think Colin Morikawa, who's been struggling for a few tournaments now, I think these are the type of moments where he just comes out of nowhere and wins, right? That's what we saw at the US Open a couple of years ago. I think he has the game. Obviously, he has the game. He has the iron, the approach game. If he can get that putter hot, he can definitely win any tournament that he enters. So I like Colin Morikawa this week at the BMW, 20-1 odds. I like that a lot. Some other guys that I'm looking at, longer shots here. I would stay away from Hideki Matsuyama. I would stay away from Adam Scott, who had a really good St. Jude's tournament, but I don't think he has the body, the stamina to do it back-to-back weeks. Corey Connors is a sneaky pick at 50-1. Has the length to really, slice this course up. Again, if he can get that putter hot, I think he's going to be a potential there. Jordan Spieth is at 40-1. I would not touch him. He's really, really struggling right now. So outside of Colin Morikawa, the only golfer that really, really catches my eye might be Corey Connors at 50-1. So I like someone that's 20-1 and 50-1. Both guys, I know if they can get hot, they both have the best birdie percentage out of anyone on tour. Looking at some of the front runners or the favorites here, if I am looking at the top 5, Rory, Patrick Cantlay, Fitzpatrick, Justin Thomas, and John Rahm, out of those 5, I would go with John Rahm just because I know what I'm getting with him. He's consistent every single round. He may have a blow-up hole maybe once or twice a round, but the others have potential for more than 1 or 2 blow-up. JT can quad a hole. Same with Fitzpatrick, Cantlay, and Rory. So John Rahm is the most consistent player off the tee out of those 5. So I would like that. John Rahm at 14-1 outright odds to win the BMW. Let me give you a little preview when it comes to the BMW here. Again, this is the second FedEx Cup. And let's see. One thing I want to mention is Cameron Smith. He withdrew, right? The number 2 overall golfer in the world. Scheffler's number 1. He's number 2. There's a lot of talk about him going to the LIV Tour, but he withdrew today due to hip soreness or hip uncomfort. So I would price, I don't think he is mentally in it. I mean, heading into that final round on Sunday at St. Jude's, he was 2 shots off the lead, and the PGA officials gave him a 2-shot penalty for some of the stuff he did on Saturday. I think he picked up the ball and played it in the wrong position. So before he even teed off on Sunday morning, he was 4 shots off the lead, and he was basically out of it at that point. Probably frustration took over. He played well, right, Sunday, but when you're the number 2 golfer in the world, you expect to win, and that ruling kind of ruined his chances. Yeah, so I still like Colin Morikawa, guys, heading into this week. some other guys that I potentially could look at. Maybe a Max Homa. Max Homa has the game. He just doesn't have the consistency. Let's see. Joaquin Neiman, a lot of people love him as first round leader bets. He always starts out so hot. It seems like he's always like 7 or 8 under every single tournament after the first round. But if you want to, do that, that could be a potential there. But yeah, my spots are going to be Morikawa, John Rahm, Corey Connors. I like Aaron Wise to finish in the top 20. If you can find top 20 bets right now, I think Aaron Wise is a good pick. He's been playing really well as of late. I'm on DraftKings right now. He's plus 160 to finish in the top 20. I like that. I think he's going to get into the top 20 and get into East Lake the week after. So those are my spots for golf. We will see how things shape out. Hopefully, Colin Morikawa makes my prediction accurate. All right, moving on to soccer. So soccer was week 2, right? Game week 2 of the Premier League this past weekend. 2 very surprising results that ended in draws. One was Chelsea-Tottenham at the Stamford Bridge. Chelsea was up all game, dominated over 70% of the possession, and Tottenham, props to them, they came away with a 2-2 draw and where they were able to get a point on the road in Chelsea. And then the game that just finished today here on Monday, Liverpool and Crystal Palace. Liverpool hasn't won a game. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but they are 0-2. 0 wins, 0 losses, and 2 draws. They ended up drawing with Crystal Palace today 1-1 in a very disappointing result, especially for the home team. So again, I mentioned there's only been 2 weeks of games, and there's only 2 teams that remain undefeated. Man City, with an amazing 2-0 record, 6-goal differential. They are dominant, like we know they are. And the other team is Arsenal. Arsenal, I mentioned to you guys heading into the season, they are very, very improved. Same with Tottenham. They have a 4-goal differential right now, and they're second right now in the Premier League, followed by the Brentford Bees, 3, who probably have the win of the last 10 years. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Tottenham 4, Newcastle 5, and Leeds 6, Chelsea 7, and Brighton 8. But as you can imagine right now, with only 2 games under the team's belts, all these teams are bunched together. A lot of movement is going to be happening in these first few weeks. But yeah, going back to Brentford here, they played Manchester United, and we all know United is one of the most dominant clubs historically ever in Europe, not just in England, but in Europe. But they are definitely going through a rough patch right now, a dry spell. They have Cristiano Ronaldo on the team, and it doesn't seem like there's any, I'd say, any alignment there. There's just a lot of disarray. There's a lot of bad vibes coming out of Manchester United right now. But they played the Brentford Bees, who just 13 months ago were not in the Premier League, right? They were relegated. They were in the English Championship League, the league right under this. They got into the Premier League last year. They were able to finish outside of relegation. Week 2 this year, they beat Manchester United 4-0. 4-0. That's going to go down as potentially Brentford's greatest win in a regular season game of all time. And conversely, that could go down as the worst worst loss of Manchester United's regular season record. They are right now 20th out of 20th in the Premier League. They're 0 wins, 0 draws, 2 losses. They have a 5-goal negative differential. They've only scored once in the first 2 games, given up 6. So they are crazy. They are at the bottom of the pack right now in the Premier League. West Ham at 19, Everton 18, Southampton 17, Crystal Palace 16. Remember that the bottom 3 teams are going to be the teams that get relegated. No way those 3 teams are going to stay down there. Everton, West Ham, and Man U. There's just too much quality on all 3 clubs. But this is a terrible start for them. We'll see where they end up, because the rest of the Premier League has improved a lot. The teams that you would expect to be towards the bottom, Bournemouth, Fulham, Nottingham Forest, Brighton, these teams have clubs that play really tough defense, and they're not going to give up a lot of goals. And when you do that, you always have a shot to win those 1-0 games or tie 0-0 draw games. So they're have the potential to always score. And right now, with Manchester United not being able to put the ball in the net, I'm a little worried about them. Again, they're not going to stay down there in relegation, but top 10 might be asking for too much for a team like that. And that's not because of talent, because they have top 5 talent. They just don't have the infrastructure right now, the team camaraderie. There's zero alignment there. No one wants to play with each other there. It's just a really bad situation there to be at Manchester United. Looking ahead at week 3 of the EPL, let me go ahead and pull that up for you guys and see if there's any good spots that we can find. So Tottenham will be hosting the Wolves. I fully expect Tottenham to win that one pretty easily. They're a -275 favorite. They should win that both halves, to be honest. Fulham. I like this spot. Fulham is hosting the Brentford Bees. We all know Brentford just had the win of their lifetime against Manchester United. Brentford's coming into Fulham as a +190 dog. I'm thinking the public's going to be overreacting to their performance against Manchester United and be betting a lot on Brentford. So I like the other side. I like Fulham. Let's see some other spots here. Manchester United has to play Liverpool this coming week. That is tough. You're already struggling. You're last place in the Premier League, and you're playing a Liverpool team that's hungry to get their first win. That is going to be tough there, but it could be a statement for them. Chelsea's playing Leicester. Chelsea is -275 at home at Stamford Bridge. After a disappointing draw against Tottenham, I fully expect Chelsea to come back and win that one really easily. Some other spots here. Oh, no, Chelsea is going on the road to Leeds. Okay. If I were to bet right now, and again, these games don't start until Saturday, so we still have 5 more days, but I think Tottenham will win. I think Fulham will win. I think Leicester and Southampton will draw. I think Everton will win. It's really hard to play in Everton. Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. Crystal Palace just had a very amazing draw against Liverpool today. I'm going to lay off that one. The line read suggests a Crystal Palace play because Aston Villa is superior and they're underdogs right now, but I'm going to lay off that one. Arsenal's on the road against Bournemouth. I expect Arsenal to win easy. Chelsea on the road against Leeds. I expect an over there. I think Chelsea's going to be able to score 2 or 3 in the net. Their midfield play is a lot better than I expected. West Ham, Brighton, give me West Ham there. Newcastle, Man City. There's no way you can fade Man City right now, even though Newcastle has a lot of new players. Maybe a draw here would be a nice bet. +400, 4-1 odds for a draw. I kind of like that 2-2, maybe even a 3-3 game. Manchester hosting Liverpool. Liverpool should demolish them right now. But that's about it. So, guys, thank you so much again for joining Best of the Rest today. We kind of did this on the fly. You guys were just listening to me handicap games as I'm looking at the odds live, and I think that's great. So you can get a sneak peek into what I see and what I look for when it comes to handicapping games. Again, Best of the Rest is a show where we highlight sports that just doesn't get enough play here in the US. So Formula One, golf, tennis, soccer, boxing, UFC. There's just so much going on right now. There's more than just the big 4. That's why we created this show, to highlight these type of sports. And we're going to have a lot more guests coming up. The Formula One summer break is ending next week. So I'm going to have a Formula One guest on next week. And we'll probably have a golf guest for the East Lake week, the FedEx Cup Championship week. So we'll have a guest for back-to-back shows. I hope you guys continue to stay with us. Thank you again for joining today. Everyone, have a good one.